Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa with Private Practice Made Easy, Your Turn to Lead. And today I have my first interview with a private practice owner, Dr. Doreen Phillips. And we're just going to kind of go through how she became an owner of a private practice and her journey and some other questions. So um, let's get started. So the first question I have, Doreen, by the way, thank you for being here with me, my first interview.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So Doreen, tell me, I'm sorry, Dr. Phillips, tell me, what inspired you to start your own private practice?
It's actually something I've always wanted to do. When I wanted to become a psychiatric mental health provider, working within the hospital systems, I understood that really the help that happens is outpatient. And I wanted to be able to provide quality care. I wanted to give my patients the time that they needed, and I knew that I had to dictate how that was going to happen, and the only way I was going to be able to do that was to have my own practice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not having to go through all the politics
Yep.
when we are working for someone else, for sure, especially bigger companies. Did you always know you wanted to run a practice, or did it evolve over time? Like when you first started as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, did you start off, wanting the dream or the goal was to be in private practice, or was it not until you started really getting into patient care? It sounds like that's what your experience was.
That's a really good question. I knew I wanted to be a facilitator of change. I came into this field, and I think that's one of the most important things, because I wanted to help people. I didn't come in here for money, for convenience. I had a calling to help people in their mental health crisis, number one. I was actually open to working for companies and organizations, but it's when I went there and started working for them and understanding, oh, Doreen, make it short. You need to see more people. You need to cut down on time. You're spending too much time talking to them. Billables, and you need to get that money up there. That I realized I didn't want to work for anyone else doing this, because they weren't so much in touch with really helping that patient, understanding what was going on. It was more about how can we make money? And that's not what I came into the field for. And that helped me understand that you got to start your own practice. You got to do this the way you want to do it, and you can't work under anyone else if you want to do that.
And I think too, when you do what you feel your purpose, or what you feel the energy is going toward private practice, that you're doing it for your own value of being a good practitioner for your patient, I think the money comes, because
Absolutely.
patients understand and feel your genuineness, and that you're there for the right reasons. So, let's get down to getting started in the business side of things. So what were the first steps you took in opening up your private practice? Like, what was the first thing you did?
Business. Filing for my LLC, number one. I honestly, I did that before I even graduated. I got my LLC. I did it myself. I didn't pay anyone to do that. It's actually quite easy. You can figure that out by Googling it. I got my EIN from the IRS. That's also free. You don't have to pay anyone to do that. That was the number one thing. A lot of it I learned on my own, but that was the first thing, formulating the business side of things so I could bill out as a separate business outside of my own Social Security number.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something, what you just said with our listeners, you can do this while you're in school. You can start building your infrastructure when you're still in school. All right, so how did you handle the first financial side of starting, like budgeting, loans? Did you do it with your own money? Did you get a loan? How did that
I did not get a loan. I started with my own money. I started at telehealth level, and then I'm in Texas, and so Fort Bend County was doing some programs where they were giving grants out to businesses. So I got $5,000 initially, and I think I got another $3,000. So there's a lot of opportunities out there that you got to look for. So that definitely helped me with the EHR system, the tech. It helped me create the website, things like that. I started slow, but having that injection of money definitely helped.
Now, how long did it take you to get that money when you applied for the grant?
I applied for the grant and we did classes, so it was like 3 months, so a
Okay,
quarter,
not bad.
to get that going. So that was pretty quick for me.
When you started out, did you take private pay and insurance, or just
I
insurance?
did cash.
Okay,
I did cash
private
pay. So sometimes
Okay.
to get going right off the bat, it just helps to do cash pay. And then I signed up with companies that would credential me and provide patients with that opportunity, a little bit of marketing too, where they can come to me already with their insurance. But that happened later on that I signed up with those companies.
Okay. How did you figure out pricing?
I'm going to be honest with you. I went online. You
Okay.
got to shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just look to see what other people are charging. And it's going to differ for markets. So you see, like, if I wanted a psych NP or a psychiatrist, how much are they charging? And I would just look at that. I'm like, okay. So I would be in that ballpark. I would come down a little bit lower. I'm trying to break into the market, so I'm going to give people a break. And that's how I did it.
So you are licensed in several states.
Yeah.
In the beginning, were you just licensed in Texas,
Yep.
or were you? How did that expand?
I started in Texas. Unfortunately for NPs, we don't have a lot of flexibility in Texas. You have to have a supervising physician. So I quickly got a license in Washington, probably within 3 months. Washington State is a great place to get a license in, and I love my autonomy there. So, and then I quickly branched out. California takes a very long time, almost a year. So I got that started quite quickly, because you also want to look at markets, right? Some places have larger markets for you, population-wise, and as a practice owner, you're going to be able to build your practice up faster. So you don't just want to say, oh, let me go to New Mexico. Is there a market there? Is there a demand there for what you do? If not, it's going to take you a lot longer. So California, Illinois at the time, Florida, New York, those are great market areas. Then look at, do I need a collaborating? Do I not need a collaborating? Because that could be a cost associated with that. So I chose the ones that did not need a collaborating, that had a great market demand, and I went there.
Do you remember how much you paid when you did have to have a collaborator? How much did you pay?
So times have changed. For Texas, it's around $600, but now I hear it's around $800. To be quite honest with you, that's a lot. And then if you wanted another state, you would have to pay more for that as well. So I was paying around $600 a month. Okay, they do not write my Schedule 2s. Look at the rules. Some of them will.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at the rules on that too, because are they seeing the patient to write that? But now I'm hearing it's around $800 to $900 a month.
Now, do you write Schedule 2s?
In Texas, I don't.
Okay.
Because I can't.
Okay.
And my collaborating does not.
Okay.
So anyone in Texas I can only write up to a Schedule 3 for them.
Right.
Yeah.
What about in Washington?
Absolutely. I do everything. And that's what I love as a provider. I can do everything I need to do.
Autonomy. Yes. Yes. Okay, so what systems or tools did you put in place, like your EMR in the beginning, and how did that evolve?
That was the most important thing for workflow, right? Like, how am I going to do this efficiently? It's just me. So I wanted, like, as much as possible, one-stop shop. But because I was working in a different time zone, I was thinking about, okay, what does this ER have to allow me to be efficient? You got to really think about that. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to scale up and go into other states, how are you going to deal with the different time zones, right? Are you going to have to get another system to come in there and do the prescriptions, send out the prescriptions, your phone system, all of these different things? So I looked for one that was scalable, that would have API options into it as well. It was Dr. Kronos that I used originally.
Can you kind of explain the benefits of API a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. API, I'm sorry about that. It's basically when you have an EHR system that allows other software systems to come into it and interact with it as well. Some of your EHR systems are going to be proprietary, and they won't allow API at all. That's a really good question to ask. Do you guys allow for API? And if they say no, then you got to realize they better come with all the bells and whistles that you need. Okay, so one like Dr. Chrono did means that you can integrate other systems into it. Scheduling, AI assistance now, scribing, all these different technologies that are offered to it. But if you have a proprietary EHR system, it's only what that company provides you and nothing else. So scalability might not be an option for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Kronos, do you still use that EMR?
I don't. I switched with Dr. Kronos.
What made you switch?
For me, I was looking at the cost. Sometimes the downtime, like how often does the system come down as well? That's a big one for me. And then also specialization. I do psychiatry. Dr. Kronos does everything, okay? Sometimes it's better to have a system that really focuses on your specialty area, psychiatry for me. So I moved from Dr. Kronos to Valent because Valent just does mental health. So everything in there helped my business, and it was very specific to my business.
Yeah, I use Valent. It's a little costly.
It is costly, and that was the other thing I didn't think about, right?
But it
was
is
cost.
nice.
So, we're all hitting, like, we don't want to say recession, but it's tight right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to think about that, and I wanted a system, again, that would allow me to see my patients in different time zones and let them schedule. So I found another system called Jane, Jane, and it's a Canadian software system. So a lot of people are not aware of it, but it allowed my patients to be able to self-schedule. It was extremely affordable, $200 less, right? So for me, I wanted to go on this cost-saving adventure, so to speak, to save money and cut down costs. And so that's when I switched over to Jane. You don't really want to switch EHR systems, you guys, because you lose data, you have to integrate it, there's a cost associated with it, the patients can get frustrated with it. So there's a cost in doing that too. So you really want to come out the box trying to figure out which system is good. That's probably one of the biggest, most important decisions you're going to ever make is your EHR system.
Yeah. And like I've been in a lot of different EMRs, and it's been a challenge when trying to transfer them over. And they will say, "Oh no, the implementation phase is really easy." It's not. No. It's not. No. It's not. And the patients too. It's a change for them as well. Yeah. So.
And we got to remember we're in mental health, so they don't need this extra headache going on in their life. We're trying to take away their headaches.
Exactly. Yeah. And trying to figure out what system you've changed to this month is frustrating for the patient.
Yeah,
so.
Most definitely.
Okay, so do you feel you have more freedom now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yes and no. Like, I have flexibility in the hours that I choose, but there's not that steady stream. Right, and so there's a lot of headache there as well. You carry a lot more of the admin, the financial, right? So there's no freedom in that, where you just have to come in, do your job, and you leave. Now you're wearing multiple hats, right? And until your business really gets streamlined, you might not be able to delegate that out and hire out staff to help with that. So that's something you have to think about. It's a catch-22 actually.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is, and I stress this all the time, is you really want to be vigilant in your finances and understanding where every dollar goes, because you can quickly, with all of the bells and whistles that you get and things you can use with technology, it can vary, and having a supervising MD, it can get very costly very quickly, and so you want to make sure your overhead is as low as possible, for sure. Okay, what was the biggest mistake you made, and what did you learn from it?
Probably getting some software that was just way too costly. I used a scribe software called DeepScribe. I was paying close to $600 to $1,000 a month.
Oh my God!
Money was coming in the beginning. You're like, great, this is fine. This will pay itself off in a week. And even if it will, is that the best way for you to spend your money, right? And it wasn't. And it's like you're not going to be generating the same income on a month-to-month basis. And it really wasn't a wise decision. Now Scribe software has come down to like $100. So that was probably one of my biggest mistakes. I signed a year contract with them. I definitely got out of that as soon as it was over. And it was just, sometimes you get very excited in the beginning. You want this, you want that. You really need to slow down, honestly, and really think, does this justify it? Projection, the financial side of things. I'm not a subscriber. I'm not a finance person. And I have to understand my limitations in this business venture as well, and get outside help sometimes.
Absolutely. Good point. A couple points I want to just re-emphasize here is that, one, contracts. Try to not get into contracts. Unfortunately, Valent has a contract, and you're in it for a year. There's some other EMRs, you're in it for a year, and like you said, with DeepScribe, you had a contract. So try to avoid the contracts for sure, because if you don't like it, you're stuck. So, are you using AI in any way with dictation or anything?
I do.
Scribing?
I like to use Freed AI. It's a dictation software.
And what was that again?
Freed.
Okay.
Freed AI, and they do scribing, and they have a great team of support. I talked to, I actually had a meeting with them before I signed on. The founder is a doctor, his wife is a doctor, he's a IT guy. They have a great team behind them. So before you just jump onto some of this, find out who's behind it. I've contacted some where it's just a college student, doesn't have a support staff, and I'm like, all your data, you know what I mean, private stuff is there. They might put the sign that it's HIPAA compliant and things like that, but you really need to know who's going to be handling all this stuff. This is really important. And then they have a team of engineers, so they're constantly improving it. So now they have templates specific for psychiatry, for therapy notes, and I've seen the improvement over time, and that's what you want to see, that they're growing with you, not that they're stagnant. And then now I'm going to jump to another one. So I've been very happy with Free AI. You'll see some of the AI scribes out there that make a lot of mistakes, and you have to go in there and clean it up. And I don't know about you, but that's too much work for me to go in and clean it up. Sometimes I'd rather just write it from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too with some of those. Okay. So a couple more questions here. How do you handle burnout?
Yeah, I take time off. And that's a real thing, and I've done it before where I was just seeing way too many patients. I was opening up, I was staying too late. I have licenses all the way from the East Coast to Hawaii, so every time zone that's available. It was just too much for me. So taking a break, taking vacation time, sometimes taking a day, like maybe Thursday, where you don't see any patients. It's your admin day. It's your day to go out and have coffee. Sometimes I'll build in a 2-hour block. This allows me to enjoy, continue to love what I'm doing. If you burn yourself out, you're not going to love this. This is a passion of mine. But if you're grinding too much, it's not going to be a passion. You're not going to be able to be available for your patients. Like really be attuned to what's going on and what they're saying to you.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've incorporated is that on Fridays in the mornings I do some admin work, but the rest of the day is mine.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really important because you could work 7 days a week if you wanted to in some cases. And we want to preach, do what we preach, model what we preach, right? And self-care is important. All right, so Dr. Phillips, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting their own private practice? You've given us some nooks here and there, but what would you leave us with?
You got to really want to do this. This has to be your passion. Do you have support? Are you doing this all alone? Don't give up your day job. It's going to take time for you to scale up. So another thing I would do is do it on the weekend where you're seeing patients on a Saturday or in the evening time, 2 days a week. Slowly scale this up. Don't get overwhelmed. Start building up a network of people such as accountants that you can turn to help with the financial aspect of things. Just start talking to other people. Talk to other people who have their own practices there. A lot of people are more than willing, such as myself, to give you information and help. There's so many people that need our help out there, and that's why I want to say, let's help each other. Let's communicate with one another. So just get out there and start talking to people. Do this slowly. Don't jump in and do it 100%. I'm going to go full force because it takes time to build a company. There's going to be moments where it's so slow, but you have to plant the seeds. The seeds take time to sprout. Okay, but it will happen.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, thank you for taking some time
You're
with me
welcome.
in my first interview.
It's a pleasure. Many more to come.
Absolutely. So if you are a nurse practitioner wanting to open up your own private practice, please leave a comment and let me know what specialty you're in so that we can interview more nurse practitioners who have opened their own practice.